From Brisbane Airport, the latest pod news. Panoply has announced that it's letting go of its entire editorial staff and is no longer developing new podcasts or handling direct sales. It's focusing on Megaphone, its podcast hosting platform, which powers 8% of the US top 400 podcasts and which the company calls the clear leader in podcasting technology and advertising services. Jacob Weisberg, chair and editor-in-chief of Panoply's owner, Slate Group, is also leaving the company. He's announced he's launching a new audio company with Malcolm Gladwell. Flatter, a company which has been handling micropayments for bloggers for 8 years, is now handling podcast contributions. It's mobile first and works regardless of what app or podcast service you use. According to Linus Olsson, he told Podnews that they'll be supporting the rel equals payment emerging standard shortly. Yesterday, we repeated The Guardian's claim that they were about to launch their first daily news podcast. John Dennis tweeted that he presented a daily news podcast from The Guardian for 5 years, between 2005 and 2010. How soon we forget. In an open letter to all podcast apps in early August, Jared Santo notes that Overcast gives the total subscriber count every time it checks your RSS feed and asks for other podcast apps to do the same. And many apps have already started to do this. We're seeing Feedbin, Breaker, Overcast and NewsBlur in our logs. Seems like a good idea. It's the first birthday of Podcast One in Australia. Grant Tothill, the unit's boss, is interviewed in B&T. Meanwhile, Tyler Moody from Turner Podcasts is interviewed in Ad Exchanger. Molly Beck, who runs Messy.fm, a podcast host, is profiled by Northeastern University.